Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes that were broadcast between the 19th and the 22nd of June 2023. How are you? Are you well? If you're anything like us, because obviously EastEnders scheduled their episodes a little bit differently this week. Some episodes we had to watch live, and we are just recording this episode now after just watching Thursday's episode. And oh my goodness, do we have much to discuss? Lots and lots and lots to discuss. This is very exciting. So joining me as per usual is the lovely Ree. Hello, Ree. How are you?
Hi, Rob. All good. How are you?
I'm very, very well. Oh my God, have we?
I'm gobsmacked. And we're both saying we normally have a bit of time to have a little chin wag before we start. We're having to start straight away.
Not even made notes properly this week.
Yeah, we can't even. We're just too mind blown from that episode, which was amazing, by the way.
It was, but normally, like, I'd probably have watched each episode twice just so I know what I'm talking about for the week. Not this week. So there was a lot of information in that Thursday episode. So if we do get any information a bit wrong, then we're sorry. Okay, I'm sure you'll correct us.
Keep us honest. But yeah,
Ree's not sorry. She's not scared. She's not scared at all. I am, however, I'm terrified.
Yeah,
of the
Rob
wrath
is
of
quite
the viewer.
scared, actually.
The wrath of the viewer, I'm terrified of. Right, so let's stop gassing. Let's stop gabbing. We have got a couple of stories to discuss before we get to the big one for the week. So let's get on with it in this week's Albert Square After Dark. So we'll start this week with talking about the Panasars, Suki, Eve, and the worst criminal in the entire world, Vinnie. Like, I don't even know where to begin with trying to comprehend how bad Vinnie is at crime. Okay, like, so obviously Vinnie has discovered the Suki and Eve affair, and he wants to keep them apart. Suki's kind of playing along with it all and pretending that Eve isn't. Suki's basically backtracked now and is going back to the days where she pretended that she wasn't a lesbian or pretended that she wasn't bisexual or gay or however Suki identifies, and Vinny's believing her, kind of, but then he sees that Eve's sort of hanging around. They go to the Vic to kind of have a family thing because Vinny believes that they now have to prove something to the rest of the square because Nish is free and everything. Oh my
God, it was such a mini Nish with that.
It was, and this is the thing.
We must go and show our face and show we have nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? And this is why the thing is, I get the anger towards Vinny at the moment. All right, I get that he is being a little turd. I get that he is, ruining the Suki and Eve relationship, and that's his aim, and he's very much the villain of the piece at the moment. I get that. But I can't be mad at him. I just can't. Because he's so rubbish at it.
I'm mad at him. I'm mad at him, even though he is rubbish. Well, he's bad at being bad, but yeah, he's so bad.
He's so bad at being bad. I mean, let's just take apart, right, what exactly went wrong when he tried to cut the brakes on this car. All right.
Oh my God.
So Eve and Felix are planning on going off to Brighton, and they decide to go off in Emily the car. Vinny catches wind of this, so he and the car's being repaired at the Archers. So he goes into the Archers because the lock's gone off it helpfully. So he kind of breaks into the Archers and goes at the brakes cable. All right, fine. Standard EastEnders fare. Someone cutting a brake cable on a car to get rid of somebody. Bit harsh, bit crazy, but okay.
Yeah, in it.
So he gets himself covered in oil and then returns to the Vic covered in said evidence. He loses his necklace there. I mean, I don't even know how he managed that. How did he lose his necklace?
That is a very good point. How did he do that?
How did he manage
scratching his neck so nervously the entire time that he was there? He loosened the chain.
He got caught on a bit of car underneath it or something. But especially since he claimed, it's normally under my t-shirt, that's why I didn't notice. It's like, how did you manage that, Vinny?
I know.
I think my favorite part of the whole sort of rubbishness of his crime was when he thought, he briefly had a moment of clarity and brilliance and thought, oh wait, I've got my fingerprints on the pliers. Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick the pliers back up with my bare hands and wipe the part of the pliers that I wasn't even touching.
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. Was that deliberate? Surely they knew. I
hope so. I hope so because I love this running joke. It seems like a running joke, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it seems like a running gag
by now. Yeah. that he's awful at doing any
bad
crimes.
he is at crime. He should work in a library.
He's not in jail, though, is he?
No, he's not in jail. But honestly, it's a miracle that he's not in prison. It really is.
His mum's always there, isn't she, sorting him out? That's why.
Yeah, well, doesn't she try this week? Because obviously, and so as a result of him being really rubbish at crime, Finley works out quite quickly, even though Finley doesn't come across as necessarily the brightest light bulb in the pack. You know, he still manages to quite quickly work out, oh, right, so Vinnie tried to cut the cables on my car.
I'm sure I've seen this gold chain somewhere before.
Yeah,
like wearing. Oh, right, there we go.
And look, Vinnie's covered in oil.
Mystery solved. Yeah.
You know, you don't need Sherlock Holmes to put the pieces together, really, do you? So Suki then has to get Ravi involved and just trying, Ravi has to be all sort of Ravi-ish and slightly intimidating. It's probably the only intimidating Panasar that would actually make a difference. And sort of
true, a minute.
But, Finley, to be fair to Finley, he stood up for himself. Was like, I'm not
he did.
Clearly a lie. He was clearly terrified.
Well,
but,
I did wonder, are there going to be some repercussions from this? Because obviously Ravi's been trying to worm his way back in with Chelsea and she's very close with Finley. And there was also, Ravi had a little relationship with Finley, didn't he? Like little friendship going on because of that.
Well, yeah, because they were going to go into business together at one point, weren't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
I kind of think that Ravi sort of doesn't want to have to do anything. I think he was just kind of if he wanted, because let's be honest,
Suki, didn't he?
Yeah, because let's be honest, we've seen Ravi get his hands dirty before. We've seen Ravi deal with something when he needs to. Like look at what he did to Keanu, for God's sake. He didn't. He claimed that he didn't even want to do that, and yet he basically knocked Keanu unconscious and
forgot about that.
It wasn't even that long ago. And so I got the impression that Ravi was sort of just trying to look a bit intimidating because he kind of sensed that he didn't really have to do anything too bad and hope that Finley will just kind of leave it there. I don't think Finley is going to leave it there, though. Do you?
Oh, do you not? Oh, no, I
don't think so.
I got the impression that was the end of it. But I must admit, I was wondering, was Ravi going to be and get his chain back then? Because Vinny wants it back. I'll wait and see what was going to happen to the chain.
No, the chain's got you. Keep the chain.
Finley's just
keep your chain and keep your information.
Inconvenience tax.
Okay, I'll have this necklace while I'm at it as well.
Yeah, I'll have it then.
I don't mind this though because nobody on the show at the moment is in more dire need of anything resembling a storyline than Finley. Ever since they came in, the two boys, Felix and Finley, have been so quiet. And Finley, the only thing that Finley seems to have really done was that kind of brief time when he had a one night stand with Dottie, and that was about it. So he desperately needs attention as a character, I think.
So that's why you think it's not the end of it?
No, I think
he needs something to do.
Yeah, I think this actually might be the start of I'm not saying it's going to be a massive epic story for Finley, but it's something, it gives us something to sort of scratch away at him and see what sort of person he is. Because what I realised when I was watching the Finley and Ravi scenes was that actually I don't know how Finley's going to react to this. I don't know if he's going to be a hard man or whether he's going to be a quiet man, so I'd like to actually understand him a little bit. And kind of the same kind of applies to Felix. I really want Felix to sort of develop a little bit more because at the moment, I have to say, Felix is seeming like the writers have been told, right, I've watched a couple of episodes of RuPaul's Drag Race and gone, right, yeah, no, that needs to be Felix. Without giving, he's coming out with all the sort of typical RuPaul, not a lot of depth, a bit of a cliched sort of coming out with phrases like, spill the tea, sashay away, and all that kind of thing. It's like, no, you need a bit more to him than that. And there is, we've had glimmers of it in Felix that he's got a bit more to him than that, but we're just not being allowed. He's the boys aren't being allowed to grow, and they've been there for, I think, about a year now. So it's time, I think.
I agree because I really like Felix and I love all the RuPaul stuff.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. There needs to be a bit more depth to him, doesn't there? He's
I
not
think
really.
So.
What major storylines Felix had, really?
None. And that, in fairness, probably less than Finley, which seems crazy because at least Finley has had a form of romance since he's been on the square, whereas Felix has had absolutely nothing.
No, it is a shame. They need to not waste them two because there's actually quite a lot of potential there, I think.
Oh, I think so. Just not doing anything.
Or is that we don't know because we don't know them, so maybe there isn't that much potential because we don't know the characters yet.
I always say it takes one storyline to make a character, okay, and it hasn't happened with these two yet, and they need their storyline. They need scenes.
Yeah, let's give them a chance.
I like the unit in the house, with Chelsea and Whitney and those two together, and I'm presuming Zach's going to get involved in that part soon as well. So that's nice. It's a good friendship group, and friendship groups are very important on the show. It gives it a sense of community. But I think it's time they kind of stood on their own 2 feet as characters and started actually. Because at the end of the day, they're brothers as well, so they can have as a pairing. They can have a storyline together and sort of move forward. But give us something, please. So that's that. And then meanwhile, obviously, is Eve and Suki, who apparently have stopped. They've stopped for now. Now. Yeah, for now. I mean, how long is it?
Mind you, Eve's already moved on, didn't she? With a rebound.
She did. Well, this is what Eve's done this before, though, hasn't she? Like Eve's kind of. Eve reminds me a little bit of Tina in some sense. The fact that if anything goes remotely wrong in her life, right, that's it. I'm off to get hammered. Like Tina used to just do that all the time. And
that's true. Yeah,
Eve's go-to situation seems to be, right, I'm going to Brighton. I'd like to know what is in Brighton for Eve. Yeah. I'd like a spin-off of a night of Eve in Brighton just to see what she gets on with.
I thought Brighton was the gay capital of the UK.
Yeah. I've only been there.
There you go. She's got a pick. That's why. Yeah. Oh, have you been? I've never been.
I've been to Brighton.
Is it good?
I didn't go for those purposes. Otherwise, I would.
Well, no, there's a lot more to it, but I'm assuming that's what.
There's a beach. There's a beach.
I know. I've heard Brighton's really nice.
Yeah, it is a nice city, to be fair. Yeah, I did some writery thing there, so it was quite nice. But I didn't experience it in the same way that Eve has. It's on my list. Trust me. Yeah. I want to experience Brighton properly. Anybody's been to Brighton? Let us know in the comment section. Let us know what's there for Eve and what you reckon she gets up to when she's there. Keep it clean, please. Or don't. I don't care. I ain't your mum. So yeah, this isn't going to. They're not going to be apart for long, are they?
No, of course they're not. I reckon next week. To be honest with you, I was wondering if something were going to happen in toilets and why Vinnie will loitering around.
That's how little self-control Suki has. Yeah. One day of no, screw it, we're in the loose now. Get in the cubicle. Screw it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I mean, as for Vinnie, I mean, the thing is, what I loved was the scene outside the Vic with Vinnie and Eve, where it could not have been more obvious that Eve was just laughing in his face.
Oh, well.
And that's why he was getting.
She'd have him for breakfast. It's fair.
She would. The thing is with Eve, she's not scared of anybody, is Eve? Is she? Really? Like Phil could be standing there and being all intimidating, and she'd be like, and what? I'm not scared. Not scared of you at all. Yeah. Which I quite like. It's feisty. It's a feisty thing.
Can I say though that I have noticed that, and it's only a little pet hate, and it's fine. And I'm just mentioning it that she does whisper a lot. Eve does sometimes. Yes. Like when she said, "Do your worst," but she whispered it angrily at Vinnie. Yeah. I'm just saying it. That's me a little bit.
It's a pet hate for you, is it? Whispering.
Yeah, a little pet hate. Yeah.
Well, can I recommend that you never ever listen to an ASMR video because you won't like it. There's a lot of whispering as well. Don't listen to that. Drive you crazy, Ree.
I love Eve though, but the whispering sometimes I'm like, I
can't say I've noticed the whispering. I'll be honest, but maybe I'll not be able to unsee it.
Can somebody let me know if you have? Someone else let me know. Is it just me? Let me know if you've noticed the whispering.
It might just be you, but maybe it's not. Maybe there's a whole group of people online that like quiver and twitch whenever Eve starts whispering. I don't know. I can't say. I don't know. But yeah, that's about it for that. We shall see where that goes. I think probably next week. I think now the Panasars have had quite a heavy few weeks, so I think it might be time for the Panasars to sort of settle a little bit. But we have also got the fact that Nish seems to be under the impression that all is well. Like he's quite happy. He's so delusional.
By the way, when Suki's said, right, that's it, we need to sack Eve, and Nish is like,
oh yeah.
Oh why? I like Eve.
Yeah, which suggests to me that we've had theories that maybe Nish knows something.
That's true.
Which to me would suggest that he doesn't.
Or is he just playing dumb extremely well?
Double bluffing her. I don't know. I don't think he does anything.
Oh, they keep doing this to us, don't they?
I know.
1 week we think he definitely knows. Yeah, he's definitely figuring it out. And then next week, nah, I ain't got a clue.
I don't think he does know anything. I think that maybe now and again he's had a few moments of, but then sort of just pushed it out of his head and thought, no.
Oh, I don't know though. Now I'm doubting myself again because remember he said that one little line. When Suki giving reasons why Eve should be sacked, and then he said, "Oh well, what women with her lifestyle are like." And I thought, oh, was that a dig? Was that a dig? Because you know what
maybe
been doing.
Maybe.
But then I was like, nah, I don't know.
In fairness, considering the sort of person that Nish is, I think he's actually been relatively liberal with Eve's sexuality. Like, it doesn't seem to have bothered him that much.
That is true. Yeah, but he didn't seem. It doesn't seem like it does bother him. Like, he knows that Ash is bisexual, and he were apparently very understanding with that. Yeah.
So
if it was his wife, on the other hand,
I think it's slightly different. Other than that, we're all massively misunderstanding. She's a very liberal, friendly, cheerful guy, and we need to stop having a go at him all the time.
Nasty Nish.
No such thing. Nah. Nice Nish, nice caring Nish, nice accepting Nish. Right then, ladies and gents, let's move on to the next story. So just two tiny stories to discuss before we get to the big meat of the episode. We'll start off by discussing Theo, Lily, and all that sort of thing. Now, that seems to have picked up a little bit this week. Now, we discussed this last week, and we were a bit unsure, weren't we? I kind of was thinking that maybe he was using Lily to get to Stacey, and you thought that he maybe had more designs on Lily.
Yes.
And this week would suggest that maybe you're right. What do you think?
Well, it does, but then again, you know, there is still a possibility that it could be your theory. But after this week, it's looking more like it's Lily that is. I don't even want to say got his sights. I don't even know how to word it.
I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously, you know, it's a soap, so we're supposed to be kind of getting these sorts of sinister vibes off him.
Yeah.
Realistically, thus far, he's not actually done anything like too terrible, has he? Like, he's given her these trainers, and he's helped her out with a bit of money. Like, I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I'm not saying, no, what's everyone kicking off about? It's perfectly normal behavior. I get it. I get where the storyline is going. But what I'm saying is, like, nothing has kind of really said to me so far, oh, he's definitely going after Lily. Like, he could still just be trying to make Lily's life easier in order to impress Stacey, because he's
but there's still something wrong in making a 12-year-old girl keep secrets, no matter what that secret may be. And this secret just so happens to be that he's giving her money. I don't know. It's all a bit
murky, isn't it? Yes, it's got that vibe about it. I mean, obviously, it's sort of because the thing is, Lily needs money because she's freaked herself out. Denzel freaked her out this week. Now, I thought this was all quite out of character for Denzel.
It was very out of character for Denzel. It was clearly written for Nugget, and then they went, Nugget needs to be in the scenes with the Panasars and the Victor, so we're just going to have to make Denzel say it all.
Yeah, it didn't feel. It didn't feel particularly in character for Denzel, because Denzel is a lot of the time when Nugget's going off on one of them, like, Denzel's normally the one going, shut up, man, shut up. So for him to then be doing this, it's kind of setting Lily all off on one about worrying about money. Felt a little bit out of character, I have to say.
Definitely.
But the point is, it's kind of brought Lily back to the reality of, wait, we're about to have a baby, Ricky. Like, how is this going to happen? We're 12 and 13. Like, what?
Do you know what? Fair play to any 12 and 13-year-olds who've had a kid and, like, you know, Jesus.
I mean,
I'm 33 and I'm struggling.
Yeah, you're having fun with it. You're having fun at the moment. You've got an ill child, haven't you? And they're not.
Yes,
not
I
fun.
do.
They're not fun.
No, they're not.
No,
they are not.
Couldn't pay me.
Good luck, Lily. Good luck, Lily. That's all I'm going to say.
To be fair, though, I think, like, baby's going to be all right. Like, if you ignore all the weirdness and drama that follows the Slaters around, this kid's going to be born into a massive loving household, isn't it? In fairness.
Oh, they've got a village around them. They say it takes a village, don't they? And this baby's definitely got a village, and lots of family who are going to help.
They've had villages in that house before. They've had, like, there's smaller villages than what have lived in the Slater household.
I'm going to say they have got a village in it at the minute.
Yeah, it's quite packed at the moment, and 2 of them have moved out. So I think the baby will be all right. But this whole Theo thing is all feeling a little bit.
It's not
murky.
Looking good, is it?
No, we'll have to wait and see.
I thought it was a bit weird though how they got Nugget to text Theo off Freddie's phone. I were expecting him to just get Theo's. I were expecting him to just get Theo's number though and pass it on to Lily, not text him off Freddie's.
Yeah, I didn't know what the plan. I didn't quite understand what the plan was. I thought he was. If I had been Nugget in that situation, I think what I would have done is sort of screenshot it and then sent it, like sent the number out of the phone book rather than doing this whole.
Well, I would have got my own phone.
And taking a picture
of the number.
Yeah, or that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, Yeah, it seemed anyway. Nitpicking, but
nitpicky. But yes, so we'll have to wait and see where all that goes. It's all looking a little bit
it's not looking good, is it?
Not looking good
I
for
don't
Lily.
like it. And also, sorry, one last thing on that though. It's a bit much, isn't it? Giving her a pregnancy and then potentially this.
This
that's
as
the
well.
only thing.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing making me think maybe it's not, because
maybe
surely
it's
they
not.
won't give it all to the same
because
person.
This is a lot, isn't it? This is a lot.
It's huge.
So yeah, I do. And to be fair, remember the Stacey OnlyFans story is still kind of going on in the background.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced Theo is the guy. I'm convinced Theo is the guy that's messaging.
He's still that guy as well.
And he's using Lily to get to Stacey. I'm sure of it. Because I feel like also, with Lily being 12, I feel like this is one of those stories where they would have to kind of pre-warn us it was coming.
No, I've just thought he's going to end up being a bit of a Lucas, isn't he, or something, and he's going to lock them both in a cellar or something and be weird. It's going to turn out like that.
Well, let's be honest. Well, yeah, and probably last. No, but to be fair, what this also does, Stacey is one of the 6. And she will now, and if this is all going to go that way, she's got a man that's going to start giving her problems. So
it could
well be Theo on the floor on Christmas Day. We do not know.
Do you know what? I hope it is him if he is doing that to Lily. Good.
We will find out. Right, so the only other story before we get to the big stuff, briefly, was Ben and Lola and Lola's funeral and Lexi. Mm-hmm. Not a huge amount went on here, apart from the fact that Ben's eating disorder is still very much going on in the background. He's obviously, he seems to be at the stage now where, like, once he eats a big meal, he's kind of basically immediately having to throw it up, which is worrying stuff for Ben. And he ends up leaving Lexi alone in the restaurant. I thought Benny kind of slightly overreacted, because all he needed to do really was say, I couldn't get in the loo, because he couldn't. It wouldn't have been a lie. The cleaner wouldn't let him in the loo. So I had to nip across the square and then rush back. And she's in the square. She's surrounded by people that, people know her in that restaurant. So I don't think she would have been.
Yeah, but he didn't actually tell Lexi, did he? He just said he was going to toilet and then did a runner. So that's what's the worst bit, is that she didn't know where he was to find him. And obviously she got upset because she saw that other mum, didn't she? Hugging her child and saying, I'm so proud of you.
Fair enough.
So then, she needs to know where her dad is. She needs to not be left alone at a time like that, doesn't she?
Fair enough. But what I think we have learned about this next week is that Lola's funeral next week, I think we've gathered. So that's going to be sad. Lexi is struggling a lot more now. Remember we said in the build up to Lola's death that Lexi actually seemed to be dealing with it all quite well.
Yeah,
and we kind of wondered whether it was going to be afterwards where it all started falling apart for her. And it seems that's very much the case. She's quite morose. She doesn't really I don't think she's really computed what's gone on. I think now Lola has actually gone. It's when it's now hit her. You're right there? You gonna sneeze?
Excuse me, I'm so sorry if you heard that on audio.
Such a delicate little sneeze as well.
Thank you.
Like doing a podcast with Hyacinth Bouquet, that was.
Oh dear.
Right. Oh dear. Right. So Lola's funeral probably next week. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But the Ben stuff, I think, is still going to be quite a long runner. Still got a long way to go with that, because obviously people need to discover what's going on. So, and no one seems to have a clue really what's
and
going on.
And how long is it going to go on for before people discover
God knows. Because one thing Ben has never been very good at is talking about his problems. So
I did think he weren't really hiding it that well by going out the front to be sick.
I don't think he had a lot of choice.
Somebody could have easily come across him there. It weren't very discreet, I didn't think. But then again, even Lexi couldn't find him. So
but how do you vomit discreetly? If you really need to do it, you need to do it. So I think he went as far away as he could, and then sort of kind of had to do what he had to do.
He was hidden behind something, weren't he?
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see how that all goes. But yes, there we are then. So that's all the other stories out of the way. Now here is. I don't know what I was just talking rubbish there. Words came out of my mouth in no order whatsoever. Try that again.
And now.
See, you can't do it either.
I was going to do it then. I thought you were going to do it.
Right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Now.
Go on. Yes. Now we'll move on to Cindy. Cindy. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The big moment has finally arrived. It feels like we have been kind of waiting for these episodes for so long, doesn't it? Even
25 years.
Yeah, in some ways. But like, even though it was kind of only just kind of leaked like about a month ago. And before we even get into talking about the stuff that we've discovered this week, let me just say something, all right? If you, all right, and do us a favour here, EastEnders fans, because I want whoever did this to hear this, okay? So screen grab it and share it around if you like, because I want them to know that, right, so the thing is, it is so hard to be a TV show these days, right? Because the viewing figures and kind of staying on screen with like the cost of TV production and everything these days, it's getting harder and harder and harder to sustain something, especially a show that's been on the screen for nearly 40 years, all right? So when they come up with something really shocking and really surprising and really like a massive moment that should go out completely unspoiled and break the internet, like for someone to just leak it, oh, my light's gone off, for someone to just leak it just for a few site hits or for a little bit of cash and to just, it's not even spoil, ruin it for the viewers. Like people, a lot of people, some people managed to avoid it, but a lot of people knew what was coming at the end of Thursday's episode or had a pretty good idea what was going to happen at the end of Thursday's episode. And the way Wednesday's episode, sorry. And the way that it all happened was, can you imagine if you did not know that Cindy was back at the end of that episode and she had just appeared on screen like that?
It would have been, I know, it would have been so good as well, wouldn't it? We'd have all been like, what the
F? Exactly.
I won't say the word.
Exactly.
Excuse me, Cindy Beale's back. What's going on? She's dead. Is she not dead? Why is she dead? Why is she not dead? It would have
absolutely broken the internet. And it went down very well as it was, to be fair. But can you imagine if we hadn't known? And we came so close to not knowing, you know? And the thing is, people in soap work so hard to keep like the factory machine of soap going. And nobody in soap, I believe genuinely, has worked as hard as the current team on EastEnders, the likes of Chris Crenshaw, Rory Nugent, Kiri, I can't remember his name, the guy who's the story producer, but like this group of people and the writers that have worked so hard to drag EastEnders up to the quality of where it is at the moment from where it was. They've had to work so hard to make that happen. And for someone to just ruin their storylines just to get a few hits on the scum website really, really grinds my gears. So there we are. That's just wanted to rant about that.
Are you done, Rob?
I'm done. I'm done because it's off my chest now. And I'm happy, much better now because I'm very happy.
You didn't swear either. Well done. You said you were going to swear to me. Actually,
I thought I might swear there, but I kept it in.
Well done.
Right. So fucking hell, Cindy's back.
Oh!
I might delete.
Fucking hell, she is though, isn't
she? She is, isn't she? I might believe that. I don't know. But yeah, let's talk positive. Let's talk exciting because this was amazing. And the thing is, there was a lot of stuff that happened this week that we actually didn't know about, and some genuinely
that is very true.
Big
there were a lot of shocks. Yeah.
So we knew that Ian was back thanks to the leak. We knew that was happening. And to be fair, after Cindy's debut, after the cliffhanger, they also the show basically confirmed Ian is back tomorrow as well. So we knew that was happening. But it's good to get Ian back as well, isn't it? I've missed him.
Oh,
I have missed him.
It is.
And I never thought I was going to say this about Ian Beale, but I have genuinely missed him. Like, it hasn't felt quite the same without him in some ways.
Ian's Ian's in my top 10 favourite characters, I've got to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I know he's annoying and all that, but
he's a little weasel
in a great way though. Yeah.
Ian
he's a great character, and Adam Woodyart's just fantastic at playing him as well, to a T.
So we've got Cindy, we've got Ian, but not only that, the end of the week, once we established that Cindy was in France, I thought she was in Spain, but she's not in Spain, she's in France. We're living with Ian. And not only that, guess who else is there? But Peter's there, and not the Peter we have grown to expect.
No.
I did not even recognize him at first. I genuinely thought we had Peter number 6 on our hands, and I was kind of like, right, great, yeah. Honestly, Peter Beale is up there with the Doctor for as many actors who have played him. They'll have Jodie Whittaker playing him next. Like I was kind of, but then I realised halfway through the episode, oh my god, it's Thomas Law. The teenage Peter, the first teenage Peter.
I recognised him straight away. But then I was like, is it? is it Thomas?
Yeah.
Is it? So then I had to Google him.
Yeah.
Go on his Instagram page, look at recent pictures, and I'm like, it is Thomas Lowe Peterbilt. What is going on?
Amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. I mean, let's be honest here, a bit brutal of the sacking of Dale Hudson. That's him gone. He was basically, Clenners came in and sacked him because he was clearly because this what has been revealed is that this was in the pipeline for quite a long time. When Ian came back for Dot's funeral, they knew what was happening. The hello love was always Cindy. Ian and Adam Woodyatt knew who he was talking to on the other end of that phone, and there was a little few people that didn't know about it on the set. He was the only one that knew, and so this has been in the pipeline, They have been planning this for ages. So basically, when Clenners first arrived, quite quickly they would have known what they were doing. So he didn't axe Peter per se. He was just sort of rejigging Peter, shall we say. But what a replacement. I'm so happy Thomas.
Great move. Great move. Well done.
Quite a good move, let's be honest. No, because to be fair, at the very least, I think you could say that the latest incantation of Peter wasn't the most likable character, was he? I don't know what they were doing with him.
I don't know if it was, I don't know whose fault that was.
Yes, that's a very diplomatic way. No, the character wasn't likable. I don't know what they were planning on doing with him, but hey ho, he's gone, and Thomas Law is back in the role. And my God, does he look the part? I'm allowed to say that, right? I was quite taken back by how he's grown.
Do you like what you see, Rob? Is that what you're trying to say?
I've got to be honest. I did quite enjoy what I saw there. Yes, I did. The son living in France has agreed with him, is what I would argue. And also, not only that, but we got not only that, but Lauren turned up as well.
Jacqueline Jerser.
Yeah, nice to see Lauren as well.
Jerser.
Apparently, what we've got here was she was back for this episode.
Just the one episode. Just the one episode. Yeah.
I suspect it's not going to be the last time we see Lauren. I think we'll probably see her again relatively soon. Maybe not straight away.
Just do the odd.
Flip backwards. I think she'll come back. I think permanently at some point once they're all settled in.
Do you think she knew then when they were filming Dot's funeral?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, obviously, Adam Woodyatt knew, and
I don't know. I got the impression with the Ian thing at Dot's funeral that was probably filmed like completely separately away from everything else because they wanted to keep that a secret. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jacqueline Josser didn't even know that Ian was back for those scenes. Because it was literally just that one little scene, wasn't it? So which could have been filmed way away from everyone else. So
I just wondered if they would have asked her back then. Oh, by the way, you're doing Dot's funeral. Will you come back for this?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Well, I will keep an eye on her Instagram because I follow her and I'll see if she posts anything about it.
She's quite the Instagram, influencer, isn't she? She's very good on socials.
She is, yeah.
But I mean, let's go through it because this was quite a week for this. So Phil, all the way back to the start of the week, Phil is now basically investigating George because he wants to know what exactly he's getting into bed with, so to speak. And we are kind of led to believe basically throughout the week that something weird is going on with Rose. Like does George know? What doesn't George know? And it kind of gave the impression that George definitely did know something, didn't it? Like he was as if he was really, really hiding something. But as it transpires, he doesn't actually know a huge amount. And Phil gets Callum to go and have a look on any sort of records that he can find. And Callum ends up getting a visit from like a really high up officer.
Well, I wondered that, because I have a friend who works in like some government department.
Oh, yes.
And
is that useful for me to know? Do I need to know that? I think I might I'll just make a note of that. Just in case I ever get into trouble.
No, probably not actually, not the department. No, not the department he's in.
There we go.
No. It's not in the government, it's a department for,
Oh, okay.
Anyway, he searched his own name, right? And he got into a lot of trouble for it.
Oh, really?
So I immediately thought when
is that like Googling yourself?
To do it, yeah, but it's on a database, so it's all security breaches and stuff. Even though to me, it's like, well, if it's yourself, how can you get done for it? But
I know for a fact that if I was on a database and I had access to said database, I would definitely search myself on the database.
You'd all be so tempted.
Everyone does it. It's the vanity of life. You Google yourself. If you're on a database, you find yourself. If you find yourself on Google Earth, you can go anywhere in the entire planet. First place you go is your house.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, my friend got into a lot of trouble for it. So immediately I'm thinking, surely the police can have access to what people have searched in the same way that my friend, got busted. So I was fully expecting this, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But it again puts Phil really on edge and kind of thinking, right, I need to find out more. So he brings in the delightful Richie. Always good to see Richie. Love ourselves a bit of Richie.
I loved that with Tommy, by the way, dropping himself
that was
in
a nice
it when
little
Richie was stood me.
Yeah.
I liked that.
I did like seeing Richie again because you always forget. Like, I just love how convenient Richie is, and that's not even a criticism. But I love the fact that Phil can literally turn to Richie for anything because Richie has so many fingers in so many pies, and you can quite easily believe, I've got a Spanish contact in the police. I'll just get onto them. She owes me a favor.
Yeah.
Of course, Richie knows somebody in the Spanish police. I totally get that. She basically finds out that Rose Knight isn't who she says she is. And you kind of start thinking, well, then who the hell is she? And Phil eventually confronts George with this stuff and says what he knows. And George clearly hasn't got a clue. George is as stunned by this information as anybody else is. All we know is that they had an argument one night. And Rose kind of, he basically had like, if you leave this house, you're never coming back. They had one of those kind of classic arguments. And Rose stormed out and never came back. And the one thing I would say is that she might have stormed out, never to be seen again. She definitely kept her phone and the same phone number, so she didn't want to be...
Yeah, this is what annoyed me because I actually got confused by that.
Okay. But...
Well, I thought he's still been in touch with her then. I thought he'd still been in touch with her all this time.
No, the idea...
He's got a number and it's not ringing off.
Yeah, I mean, you can maybe argue it with there's a side that Cindy... Because what we do get quite... obviously from Cindy is that she misses the girl. She misses Gina and Anna.
Yeah.
So you sort of wonder whether she's left it that way so that if she needs to speak to the girls, or if she really sort of, or if George desperately needs to, you can kind of argue that maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, but it does also kind of go away from the fact that she doesn't want to be found and that she doesn't want him ever to contact her again. So maybe the two didn't necessarily gel. But if you don't do that, you kind of would have taken away from the powerful cliffhanger that we got at the end of Wednesday's episode. Because what I thought was going to happen was that he would have got that information and just sort of looked at a photo of her wistfully, and we would have seen the photo for the first time and realised who she was. But what we actually got was the phone call. And the phone call actually is kind of what triggers the conversations between Ian and Cindy the next episode when we discover exactly what has gone on. And what has gone on is a load of madness. Like absolute. It was a lot to throw at us, wasn't it? It was a lot to take in for an episode that we only watched once because of the timing of it. It was quite a lot to take in, but we'll do our best to kind of go through it. So, explain to us, how has Cindy come back to life?
So obviously we see Mary, who comes to let Cindy know that if a certain Jackie Ford is now dead.
Now,
what does this mean for Cindy then?
Well, I was worried for a minute because everything had come at us quite quickly. Bear in mind, by that point, I'd been thrown new/old Peter. I was trying to work out whether
I was still trying to get over that one.
Yeah, Lauren had turned up, so I was trying to compute that as well. Then I was trying to basically work out everything that this Mary woman was saying. So what I can gather is that Jackie Ford. So I was worried that Jackie Ford was somebody else that I was supposed to know and that I'd just completely forgotten.
Yeah, I was like that at first. Like, no, this is just Cindy's cellmate.
Yes, go on.
So obviously Cindy's got herself into some beef with Jackie Ford along the way. She snitched on Jackie for something that she's done in prison or something. Confessed to her.
I got the impression that Cindy has basically sorted out a deal to get herself out of prison. So I will grass up my cellmate for something. You protect me. But clearly Jackie Ford is a very dangerous lady with very dangerous friends and family. But we are sort of given the impression that also she was a lot older than Cindy. So now she's basically died from old age.
So it's fine, don't worry about it. And so have all her associates.
Yeah, anybody that could go after her is too old to be scared of. Apparently. So that's fine. I mean, it's
so no one else out there trying to seek vengeance for their family member or anything. So it's surely got to be a little deeper than that.
Yeah,
right?
I don't believe, like, if she genuinely has been put on witness protection because of a really dangerous family or a really dangerous group of people. I don't believe that is it completely. I would not be surprised if one day, maybe not straight away, but if at some point we get sort of somebody from the Ford family or someone from kind of that group of characters to turn up and start making Cindy's life hell if she comes back to Wolford.
Well, there's potential at least for that then, isn't there?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But apparently Cindy's free. Cindy's free to stop being Rose. Go on.
Did you notice that Mary mentioned to Ian, I've not come across you before. Aren't you the one that Cindy tried to shoot? I thought, oh yeah, the entire reason that she's in this mess, because that's what she got arrested for, the attempted murder.
The attempted murder of Ian. That's why she was in prison. Yeah. The one thing that wasn't really made clear straight away, or at all really, was how Cindy and Ian kind of came back into each other's lives again.
Yeah. Did they just bump into each other just in that market or something?
Walking through the streets of Normandy and just sort of bumped into each other. I mean, I'm assuming that's something that we're going to kind of cover on another episode or something. I kind of wonder whether it's even going to be mentioned next week, because we know they're abroad at the moment, so there's not like they're coming back straight away. Like by the end of the episode, Ian's in hospital because he's had a heart attack. And for the second time,
I think they might be back next week.
Oh, well, they won't be back next week. I don't think we'll be back next week.
Do you not think?
Oh, we might get. What I mean is, I don't think they'll be back. They're not heading to Wolford for next week, is what I mean.
Oh, okay.
And also, Ian doesn't want them to be in Wolford now, because he realizes who is in Wolford. Because it's sort of made apparent throughout the week that throughout the episode that he's actually quite concerned, and I can't imagine why little Ian Beale would feel in the slightest bit put out and intimidated by massive 6-foot boxer George the Nightmare Knight. Can't possibly imagine why he'd feel like he's no competition to that whatsoever, you know? So once he realizes, courtesy of the video that Freddie had made, clever.
Yes, I thought that when it was being filmed, I was like, this is going to be relevant. No, I actually thought that.
No, I didn't land on that. So yeah, clever like that.
But I didn't think it'd be for anything like that.
No, but I didn't. Do you know what it is? Because it's just Freddie. I was kind of like, Freddie's doing a video of a place that he lives in. Yeah, of course he is. You know, I
thought there was some relevance to it. It was a shot. I was watching it through his phone with Bobby, and I was like, why are we watching it through his phone?
I agree. I don't know why I didn't land on that. I feel like an idiot, but yeah. So that happened, and that's how Ian has now learned that in his old local is currently George Knight, and the two daughters that Cindy is sort of missing quite a lot. So he wants Cindy. Small world. I mean, he now, so Cindy's just about allowed to stop being in witness protection just as George moves into the Vic. You could argue a bit of a coinky dink, but hey ho. That's the world.
It brings her back, doesn't it?
Brings her back. Yeah. And do you know what? It's the world of soap, and who cares? Because it was a great couple of episodes. It really was.
Yeah.
The stuff with even on Wednesday's episode, there was some great stuff in there. Like there was a really nice cinematic shot of Bobby walking out of his house. I love that. You could kind of sense that.
I noticed that shot. Yeah.
You kind of sense that Bobby's going to be quite a big part of this story, which is interesting.
Well, that was when I thought Peter's coming back, but I thought it was going to be a brand new spanking new
Peter 6. Yeah. Or Peter 7,
or
however many Peters there've been. Peter the 6th, yeah. I don't know how many Peters there's been now, but this is very much Peter the. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, if you count like infant Peter, that doesn't really count. But like proper Peter. So there was that. I also absolutely loved that scene, that last scene with George and the Vic on his own. That scene went on for about 4 minutes, by the way, and he didn't say a word. It was just all in. It was just all in before. I think, including a little bit with Phil at the start, but that whole scene was about 4 minutes long, and most of that was just him in silence, sort of dealing with what he'd just been told, and it was all in performance without a word of dialogue. Colin Salmon's very good, isn't he? Colin Salmon's very, very good. Very pleased that he's in charge of the Vic at the moment. That's exciting. Very, very exciting.
And it's also pretty promising that we've cared so much to uncover someone's secret this early on.
Yeah.
Why do I care? I don't even know George Knight, but I really want to know everything.
Really want
what
to
this
know.
Massive secret is. So
I'm very pleased.
We're invested in him.
Yeah, and I'm very, very pleased actually that there isn't a more sinister side to George thus far. You kind of wondered, is there a little bit? Did he murder? Is he kind of scary because he's a big scary boxer and he's mates with Phil? Like, is he going to turn out to be a bit more of a villain? But I'm glad that he seems to be somebody that you probably wouldn't mess with, but not a bad person per se. Like his daughters love him.
I still have some unanswered questions though about all this. I must admit, like I don't get the impression that he didn't know that something like this was happening. I don't know why
What?
I don't feel like it was explained enough. I feel like he knew that she was on the run from something.
Yeah, but it was no. I don't think he. I don't think he does. Because it was literally
It's
sort
just
of
me.
like no. I don't think he does because it was.
I couldn't
I
get
thought it
over
was
the fact that he rang her. It's just confused. It confused me
no.
so much when he
Right.
called her phone.
No, I think yeah. Again, I don't think that's anything other than the fact that he wanted
So
to
we're
speak
meant
to
to
her.
think that it was literally what he said.
Yeah.
We had an argument in the street.
Yeah.
She legged it. Then I didn't see her again. And I ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
So that's all true. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think so. Because then Cindy later is talking about the fact that he does occasionally ring her like on the girl's birthday. She never answers. But it's good for her to, I think, to have that sort of even if it's no communication, it almost feels like communication between them in that respect,
true.
you know. So I think that's more or less. I think that's what it was really. I don't think there was anything.
Okay.
I think as far as George is concerned, we know his entire side of the story now.
All right.
I think it might a little bit more might be revealed somewhere along the line about their relationship or maybe what they were arguing about. Because the thing is, as well, this isn't just any old lady that we brought back here. This is Cindy Beale, all right.
Cindy Beale.
The Cindy Beale, who was at one point quite the super bitch. And I didn't get much of a super bitch vibe off Cindy this time around. Now I know it's been many, many years since we last saw Cindy. 1998, 26 years ago. Like a lot has changed in the UK in the past 26 years, and Cindy apparently is one of them. But I feel like there's a lot that we've still got to scratch away at Cindy here. She came across as quite warm and quite sort of like quite a nice lady, like not somebody that you would think arranged to tried to have Ian shot and had like multiple affairs and like tried to kidnap the children and everything else that Cindy did. Like you're not looking at that woman that we saw this week and thinking, yeah, she was in prison for attempted murder. Like there's something.
Maybe it's changed her there, Rob. It could have changed her because obviously she didn't like prison, did she? So maybe she's gone right. I'm going to learn from this, and like she's had to keep under radar. She can't get herself into trouble anymore. She can't get herself to be, you know.
I am not convinced, and I also don't think that Bobby is in for a very good time when they do eventually land back in Walford. No. And again, you know, they were having conversations with Peter about this, and like. It's always been a little bit confusing as to how over this Peter actually is. Like, and it hasn't really helped. I don't think that there's been like, you know, various kind of Peters coming in, so that they have to sort of kind of almost have to keep starting that story again. You know, when Ben Hardy left the role, I think he obviously left when it had all just come out. So that was him. So he left when it was all very fresh. So obviously not over it. Then when Dale Hudson Peter came in, it was sort of a bit weird that they didn't really seem to know whether he was over it or whether he was fine with it. And then by the time he left, it was kind of like, yeah, you don't really seem that over it. But this time, obviously, this week we had Bobby ringing him up and saying that he missed his brother, which I thought was quite sweet. But then, how over it is Peter? I think we've never really had that answered since we've had Peter back.
I feel like this Peter is going to be a lot softer with Bobby.
Okay,
that's the impression I'm getting, because it almost felt out of character, which is a weird thing to say when you were explaining to Lauren, like, oh yeah, well actually the last time I was there, not only did I sleep with my brother's girlfriend, but I also robbed my gran of everything in a bank account.
So Peter's got plenty of trouble to go back to. So that's, you know, what I love is the fact that each of these characters has got plenty to come back to individually. Never mind as a unit.
Definitely.
Peter, like we say, has got to come back to deal with Bobby and sleeping with Dana and dealing with Kathy, and him and Rocky. I don't think we're getting on too well by the end of it. So he's got all that to deal with. Ian's got Sharon to go back to, which I cannot wait to sort of see that whole madness put to bed with a competent set of like storyline and all that kind of thing. That's going to be interesting. The Ian and Sharon thing was crazy mental by the end. So for them to sort of deal with it this time round is going to be really interesting. I can't wait for that. The fact that Cindy has returned with him, Kathy is going to do her nut. Kathy is going to be apocalyptic with rage when Cindy returns. I can't wait. So exciting. I can't wait.
Like Cindy, did she?
She did not like Cindy whatsoever. I mean, you can sort of understand why. She did try to have a son killed, so you can sort of understand why. But I did really enjoy that scene, that moment where Ian was saying, if anybody should understand about pretending to be dead, it's my mother.
Okay, it's my mother. So we'll not worry about that bit.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
No, that should provide some comedy.
Is Cindy Junior going to come back?
Who knows? Yeah, that's another one.
Or Cindy Junior, by the way, like in all of
Yeah,
this.
I mean, yeah, I don't know where Cindy Junior is at the moment, but
is she with Liam in Germany?
I thought that, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because if you actually look at Cindy's history, as in Cindy Senior's history, it's like 6 kids. 6 kids she's just abandoned.
Yeah, I know, right? I was trying to figure all this out.
Janine,
yeah.
she makes Janine look like super nanny, doesn't she? Like 6 kids she's had, and she's just basically abandoned all of them at some point during her life. It's nice that she's now got Peter back, but obviously the Lucy thing, like I say, I do not believe that she's going to come back and sort of be all motherly with Bobby. I don't believe that for a second. Bobby is in for some hell. I'm telling you now. I'm not.
And Bobby and Anna seem to be getting a little bit closer.
They're really sweet. They're really sweet, and they're not related. They're not related, so they can.
They're not. But how weird would it be for Peter to be like, my brother's going out with my sister?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. Oh, yeah, because then Bobby can be like, yeah, how do you like? Yeah. So it's all going to get very, 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 very complicated when they all go back, and I cannot wait. It's very, very, very exciting.
Also, Cindy's been on another note. Whilst it's in my head, Cindy's been playing down her relationship with George a lot, don't you think? Because he's kept all these love notes and everything else in a say.
He's clearly.
She's like,
She's
in
clearly
love with him.
Yeah, she's clearly.
And I just think he's in love with her.
No, I think he's. The thing is, one of the things that Cindy was always very, very good at was having affairs. Like, so the memories I have of Cindy, and I remember, I was only about kind of 8, 9, 10 when I was kind of aware of Cindy as a character.
Yeah.
But I remember her having an affair with David Wicks. I remember her having an affair
huge.
I remember her having an affair with Wixie. She liked the Wickses. But so there was plenty of stuff that big kind of high profile affair storylines that Cindy is remembered for. So yeah, I guarantee when she's back, her and George are going to start again because Cindy has affairs. It's one of the things she does best, and there's going to be plenty for her to do when she's there. It's so exciting. Chris Clenshaw, we love you. We love you.
Well done.
What you have done for, I know you're not alone. I know there's a whole team behind you, like I said earlier when I was trying to rant earlier and forgot people's names. I had them in my head before I started ranting as well. It's so embarrassing. But like, honestly, what you've done for this show is incredible. And it's so exciting to be an EastEnders fan, isn't it? It really, really, really is. I think that's just about all of it. Really, like there's just so much more to sort of come. I think it's the exciting thing. And how involved do you think that Cindy might be in the Christmas storyline? Do you think anything that Cindy gets up to might have something to do with who's on the floor?
Could she be the 7th matriarch? There's rumours about there being a 7th potentially.
Cindy maybe be the 7th. What do you reckon her colour will be? I quite see Cindy in a salmon dress.
I can't remember what colours have been taken.
I think like
Colin salmon. I'm like, salmon. No.
Genius. We'll
no relevance there.
We'll go there. Genius. Cindy will be in a salmon dress if she is number 7. There we are then. So, Ree, who, as if I need to ask, but who is your gold star going to this week? Every week we have this. Come on.
All right. I'm just having a think. Cindy, go on then. Let's get to Cindy.
So much dead air. I love it. Yeah, we'll both give it to Cindy, I think. Welcome back, girl. Welcome back. It's going to be very, very exciting.
Every week you get me with a gold star.
I know. It's not like we do it every single week for 11 weeks, is it?
Well, actually, no, to be fair, in my head, I was actually debating George because I think he's been really good this week.
Yeah, you can give it to George as well if you like. But I think Cindy.
I've picked now. It's got to be Cindy.
You've picked
it was very close. Yeah.
It
was closer.
All right then, ladies and gents, that's it for this week. For this week's story discussions? What week it has been. Very, very exciting. We shall finish this week's discussion as usual with comments from you guys.
So now we're going to go straight to our socials and all the comments we've had from you lovely people over this past week. So I'm going to start off with one that we've had from Neon Commando on our Instagram page, who said, so strange, but I loved it. It felt like a spin-off set in a parallel dimension. Cindy slotted back in perfectly, and having the best Peter back was the icing on the cake. That was obviously about Thursday's episode.
Yeah. I just can't believe I didn't recognise him at first. He's proper blown up. I'm not just being a perv when I say that, but he's like changed quite. Like I swear, he's a lot taller. I'm fairly sure.
A lot taller.
He's a lot taller, and I'm fairly sure that when he was in it before, he was a brunette, and now he's gone blonde. And he's wearing like a necklace and all that kind of thing. Like, it's so good to have him back, but I just didn't recognise him at all. I'm a terrible fan. Kieran Smith says, OG and best, in my opinion, Peter. And Lauren, oh my God, are they all back? So Peter has no idea about Gina and Anna then. I really did think they were about to give Ian an illness for a second. They have to be trying to bring Jane back as well, surely. I mean, there is still so much. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd love to see Jane back because Jane was great, and there's still so much unresolved stuff there between Bobby and Jane. So 100%, they need to bring Jane back at some point in the future. I don't know.
Ian did say in the hospital though, like, "Oh, Cindy, you've always been the one," and I was thinking, what about Jane? I think she's more you one though, Ian.
That's Ian just chatting Ian though, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair though, it's a good point about giving Ian an illness. Like I did wonder whether they were about to do an Alfie on him and like give him a random brain tumor or something like that, or give him like some sort of illness, and that's the only reason Adam Woodyatt agreed to return. Yeah, but you can kill me off if you down the line. So I'm glad they're not going down that route. Apparently, for now. Next comment.
At the timeline, YT has said, nobody has mentioned that if George never heard from Rose after she ran out, then technically, isn't he still married to her and so can't marry Elaine?
Oh, so that's how that's all going to fall out and come out then, isn't it? Although
so he can't actually marry her.
Although she is... Were they married? I can't remember, because she is credited as Cindy Beale on the credits, so she is still a Beale.
But she's called Rose Knight, isn't she?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So... I don't know how it works with witness protection, to be honest. Like, if you're still married in one life, can you then get married in another? I don't know how.
No, because she's called Rose Knight. That will be her name. She'll probably change it by default, won't she? By
default, yeah. But then she can change it back to Cindy Beale. So does that cancel all of that out?
Yeah, but then you still have to get a divorce. You can change your name without getting divorced.
I think it's fair to say that's probably going to get brought up at some point. There's going to be complications, yeah. And then finally, Connor Wilkinson says, Cindy, Ian, old Peter and Lauren, thank you, Clenners. The fact that Ian has a market stall in France is hilarious. I did like the market stall, I have to say.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even mention the market stall.
No, the market stall with some dodgy baguettes, because, of course, it was so Ian. So Ian.
Yeah, very Ian.
And also what was so Ian was the fact that by the end of the episode, he's hiding a secret from his missus and being all furtive about it because he's Ian. And this is how he gets himself into so many problems all the time. Yeah. And it's great to have him back. What a week. What a fantastic week it has been. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get in touch with us at all times via email, any of our socials, send us questions, comments, feedback on the podcast. You can do that by doing the following.
You can find us on Facebook on Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Lastly, email us at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Can't wait for next week. Can't wait for this. Can I just say, right, it's summer. It's the middle of summer. And normally, EastEnders tends to slow down a little bit around the summertime.
Oh, yeah, that's a very valid point. Yeah.
Not on Clenners' watch. No.
Boom. It's been a year already.
2 years ago, we had Whitney pretending to be an international pop star. That was about the height of the summer storyline. Leading into the
2 years ago?
Yeah, wow. Yeah. And now look where we are. Cindy Beale struts back onto the screen with Ian, with old Peter, Lauren showing up. It's all very, very exciting. I cannot wait to see where this goes. And you can join us at the same time next week. Until then, it's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
See ya, bye.